does Mr. Platt get these drawings to draw from? I'll show you. I'm actually using an old high school textbook called Exploring Drafting. In fact, we had it here at Southeast High School many years ago. But in this book by John Walker, we're looking at a lot of the different types of drawings that he is suggesting that we draw. In fact, that's one we're drawing right there. And then some of the ones we've already drawn are here as well. I translate those into drawings so that you can follow along with me as I draft. Now, before we go too much further, we need to address some issues. First of all, I'm going to show you some examples of drawings that I think need to be improved dramatically. I got this drawing turned in. I just printed it off my computer of a drawing that a student submitted for his work. I don't really understand what this is, other than it looks like a representation of a drawing we had done earlier. This looks like part 21 that we're trying to work on, but it's completely wrong. I don't know what this is. I don't understand it. And if I was someone in a foreign country, I would know exactly what you're asking me to do. I don't know what size this is. It says scale is 1-to-1 scale, so if I put a ruler on this, will this measure out correctly? I assume no, it does not. So I don't know what this is. So if I was going to turn this in as an assignment, this would not be good. Now, here's another drawing that a student turned in, and I blocked their names off so they won't be embarrassed. There's a couple things about this, and this does not follow the conventions of what I wanted us to do. Granted, he did follow my paper, and this student did divide up into 4 quadrants, top, front, right, and isometric. But if you can tell, if I take a 30-60-90 and I put it on the drawing and I put it on his horizontal line, he did not use a 30-60-90 to draw that. So that's a problem. And then secondly, if I flip it over on this opposite side, it kind of looks like he attempted to do it on this side, but we want to make sure it's all parallel. Now, this is another drawing that a student did from the last project that I thought was very good, and I blocked his name out not to embarrass the student. He used the 30-60-90 that he created. He had his ruler and everything, so that's good. That takes care of 2 assignments. His dimensioning is fine. He cordoned everything off the 4 corners as I lay them out using these guide marks that I put here on the side and on the top. That looks really good. But eventually I want this student, as well as the other 3, to draft not like this, but to produce a quality drawing that's more like this. Now, you're probably saying, gee, Mr. Platt, you're really putting us under a lot of pressure as to why we do that. Well, I got lucky and I ran across a drawing I did many, many years ago when I worked at Johnson Space Center, and I'm going to share it with you. This is the drawing that you've seen parts of on my website, richardplatt.net. This is the external tank drawing that I did for NASA many, many years ago. This shows very detailed drawings about each component that sits on the external tanks. I have to pull this over here so you can see a little bit better. This shows the shuttle right here. It shows the external tank, the 2 solid rocket boosters, and then it shows details to individual parts that make up the external tank assembly that goes on the space shuttle. Now, if you look here further, there's detail of different components and how I did cross-section cutaways, and then I did exploded views, as you can see right here. But you got to understand something. This drawing was a drawing that would have flown on the space shuttle. This is a drawing that would be used by flight operations. This was actually drawn for flight operations, but also be used for mission control and for actually the operation of the shuttle and training astronauts and training engineers. Granted, this was a massive drawing. It was 10 feet long, and this has been scaled down to a smaller size that you can put into a 3-ring binder, as we did here at NASA. So all of these details and the quality of this drawing is what NASA was looking for me when I worked in industry. And this was a critical drawing that was used for the space shuttle program. And what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that drawings that we do like this actually do matter. It could be a vehicle that's used to transport astronauts into space, a vehicle that travels at 17,500 miles an hour when it's orbiting the Earth's surface. It could be a part that goes into a train or to a bus or to a car, an automobile, or it could go into a medical instrument that's going to be used to save lives. So how we design and how we draw is vitally critical to the safety and well-being of people, machines, and objects that we create. Keep in mind, I need to know what you're asking me to do if you want me to make this part. correct and accurate dimensions are vital to what I'm looking for, so that when I look at a drawing like this, I don't have a clue as to what you're asking me to do. When I look at a drawing like this, it's very hard to understand. It's written very crudely. It's not following the conventions that I teach you how to set up and do. And then when I look at a drawing like this, it tells me that some of you are really getting it and you're doing a good job. So this is what we're shooting for, being able to do drawings like this and like drawings like that. So let's get focused on this and let's make sure we understand what we're trying to do.